All right, welcome to the latest episode of Blood Money. Today we have the incredible Thomas Renz with us. How are you doing, Tom?
Oh, I'm fighting, brother. We got bad guys everywhere, and man, they're grumpy. They're grumpy because we're exposing just how corrupt and how evil and how nefarious and the reach of some of this evil that's out there. I mean, it's mind blowing, and I never thought, Vem, because you were with me through a lot of the COVID stuff that we've been doing. I mean, that we're still doing that. Obviously, it's a huge part of my work. But as we've gone through that, you've been with me on a lot, and you've seen how censored we are and how bad I got to tell you, I never in a million years thought I'd find a topic that was as censored as mRNA and gene therapies and vaccines. Mm-hmm. But I found one that's worse. It's the Uniparty. These guys don't like that.
This is amazing. Let me tee this off and correct me if I, misspeak, right? But the reason we just had you on the Blood Money podcast, and since then you've actually come out speaking about this individual named Susie Wiles, right? And what we found, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is that you actually tried to talk about who this Susie Wiles individual is, some of the questions that you have about her. And tell me if I'm crazy here, but did you just get censored on Alex Jones for saying these things? Did they just take down your episode talking about this topic, or is that not correct information?
Well, listen, I love Alex Jones. I love InfoWars, and those guys put out an immense amount of good and truthful information. And to my knowledge, the full show is up there. Now, the piece of that show where I'm interviewed, I'm not sure if that's still up there. I'm thinking I was told that it was taken down. I don't know, maybe. But regardless, here's the thing. I do know that interview was picked up, and I had a bunch of people starting to share it. And I know that I've had a number of people call me, and I'm not going to say who, right? Because this is a sensitive thing, because apparently someone in the Trump world, the Trump campaign, and I'm guessing we know who, is now trying to censor me for asking a question. I mean, can you imagine that, I'm out here and I'm asking legit questions, and my portion of this interview is getting pulled down all over the place. And I'm getting phone calls from people saying, hey, we can't share this. What do you mean you can't share it? Well, we got a call from, someone who's very well connected, and they're saying that, we can't share this. We can't put it out there. Listen, Vem, I don't know. Yeah, I actually was told that several people have been told that my information was incorrect. I literally shared screenshots of websites that said exactly what I said. We basically said that Susie Wiles, who runs Trump's campaign and who runs his PAC, is out there, and that she's working for a company known as Mercury LLC. Mercury LLC is this consulting firm that works with the Democrats. They represent, according to their website, and I posted the pictures of their website, that it says, hey, we work with Susie Wiles as a partner here, or a manager or something. I posted a picture of that, and then I posted a picture from Mercury's website showing that they represent Pfizer, Gilead, the UN Foundation, Gavi, all these WEF nefarious actors. Then I posted more pictures of of their website of Omnicorp. Omnicorp owns Mercury LLC. They're one of the largest media marketing companies holders out there, and Omnicorp is a WEF partner. They're listed on the WEF website as a partner. All of this I posted screenshots on, right? And this is what I said. I said, is there a snake in the woodshed? Is this person? Why does Trump have someone running his campaign and running his PAC that is listed as working for a company that represents the UN Foundation, Gavi, Gilead, and Pfizer, and in a company that also is owned by a WEF partner? I said, we've got to get the word to Donald Trump because it looks like he's got a fox in his hen house. And, obviously Trump is America first, and I'm pro-Trump 2024 all the way. So, the only thing I can conclude is that he's unaware that you've got someone in there that's, got some very, very questionable ties. And really someone who, if it was me, I'd be questioning where the loyalty is. Is it to me? Is it to the WEF? Is it to the, the people paying you? Who are you loyal to there?
So tell me a little bit about what you found out about this Susie Wiles person. But before you do that, I got to tell you, I'm trying to search for this episode, right? And it seems as though while my camera was turned off, I was searching, I was looking through the links. It seems as though this is being heavily censored, and it seems as though this is being heavily censored from people that normally do not censor. So what kind of third rail have you just struck, Tom? It seems as though you might be finding out something here that is causing this immense amount of censorship from people that do not normally censor. And tell me, is anything that I just said incorrect? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, nothing you said is incorrect. Now, I will not say that Alex Jones would censor me. Alex is a good guy. Alex is a warrior for truth. I wish that I could be 1/10 of truth warrior Alex Jones is. So I'm not talking about Alex Jones here. I'm talking about the people who are out there pushing for the censorship around I don't know how that's happening. I just know that it's happening. It's quite apparent. We're getting tons of messages, tons of feedback. I got a lot of sources at this point, right? So we are absolutely being censored, and we're being censored very hard on this. And I got to tell you, Vem, I think what's happened is, I'm starting to look around the country, right? And I'm seeing Trump endorsing these people who are rhinos. And they're state level, right? They're people who have a lot of influence at the state level, and they can influence an entire state, but they're not national. So what that means is if you're Donald Trump, if you're in trial with all these fake indictments, if you're getting sued in all these fake garbage corrupt courts, you're getting hit all over. You're being attacked. Your family's being attacked. You're being attacked by everything. There is no way that he can know everything. He's got to rely on his advisors, right? And the people that I'm talking about are people who have huge influence over states, but they're not so high up that Trump's going to be vetting them himself. And so I'm seeing states like Michigan getting destroyed. I'm seeing states like Oklahoma where he's endorsing people that are just bad. I'm seeing, all over the country where this sort of thing's happening. And so I start looking, okay, Trump's already been very questionable in the vaccines. Where's he getting that advice? And now I see all these bad endorsements. So I start looking, who's responsible for helping him figure out who to endorse on the state level? Well, from what I'm hearing over and over again, it's Susie Wiles. So at some point, I just say to myself, okay, well, why is she doing this? If she is in fact the person responsible for this, and I don't know, I'm not an insider in the Trump campaign, but if she is, well, what the hell is she doing picking these lunatics? So I start digging, and I start seeing all these things that just look like massive conflicts of interest. And remember, I'm only talking about a few aspects of this. I have a whole load of stuff that I have not made public and don't want to, but these are questions, right? It's fair for me to say, hey, Mr. President, I want you to be aware that it looks like you've got a fox in your hen house, because, we saw in the first Trump term, that Trump kept having bad guys infiltrate his circle and then screw him over. So I start looking, is he got bad guys screwing him over? And I don't know. It looks really bad to me. There you're seeing it. Mercury's Florida co-chair, right? This Mercury company, they work directly. If you look on their website, if you look at their news, if you look at their this, they work directly with Democrats all over the place, along with representing all of these companies that are really, really shady. This is the uniparty at work. If you're the bad guys and you don't like Trump, what are you going to do? Trump's not going to. Trump has made very clear. He's risked his fortune, he's risked his family, he's risked everything for this country and for MAGA, right? So Trump isn't going to sell out. what do you do if you want to get a guy like that and control him? Well, you aren't going to control him by telling him he has to do something. You obviously aren't going to threaten him. He's not backing down. So what you got to do is you got to get people around him that can manipulate or lie to him, or people that, maybe they can't manipulate or lie, but he just has to rely on them so heavily that, he ends up, promoting or pushing or doing things that, maybe are not in his best interest. And that's what we're seeing with these bad endorsements and some of these other things that are happening. We see people that are just doing really, really bad things that are objectively not helpful. So, like I said, when I start digging into this and I see that literally the person in charge of his campaign and in charge of his PAC and the gatekeeper, like if you talk to the people that know Trump, and I don't know him, but if you talk to the people that know Trump and that work with Trump, they said, well, you can't meet with Trump. You can't talk to Trump unless Susie's in the room. And if you get a meeting with Trump, it's actually a meeting with Susie. Okay. Well, let me ask you the question. If that's the case, why is his closest confidant? Why is his gatekeeper? Why is this person? Why am I getting dozens and dozens of reports about, allegedly shady activity? And why is she working in such a conflicted spot? I mean, Vem, she's literally in the belly of the beast working in these places. Why wouldn't you have a diehard MAGA person who is, listen, there's a lot of good political people who are, willing to stand for God, family, country, who are willing to stand for MAGA, America First, and who aren't so conflicted. He could put a lot of people in that position. So, my guess is that he just doesn't know. So the purpose of this, and my whole purpose in doing this, was to look for bad guys that are infiltrating his camp, because it's happened before and it can happen again. And it's the nature of things, right? If you're a good guy doing good things and you're fighting bad guys doing bad things, the bad guys are going to try and find a way to stop you. And if that means infiltrating your organization and trying to screw it up, well, that's what they do. Now, I can't prove she's a bad guy, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty damn suspicious that when I ask questions and I provide hard evidence, that the response we get is, no, he's wrong and don't ask questions and let's censor him. If you tell me that you're going to try and censor me, right? If we've got important, powerful people who, by the way, arguably or debatably, potentially work for, under Susie, that are then suddenly reaching out to people and telling them they got to take this down, block this, shut this down, whatever. Do you really think, does anybody in this world believe that that's a coincidence? And do we really want someone who believes in censorship? I don't know who involved with this is pushing the censorship, but I got to tell you, if you push censorship, you're not on team MAGA. You're not on America First. You're not believing in our Constitution. If there is any push for censorship, that means you are the antithesis of everything I believe in, and you need to be gone. I don't care if you're right, left, what you believe in, you have the right to speak in this country. And I'm big on the First Amendment. And whoever is pushing to have this silenced and censored, listen, I'm going to war. And I got to tell you, I just want to say for the record, Vem, we've had some substantial increase in threats. We get threats all the time, right? We've had a substantial increase in threats here since I've done this. And I'm going to tell you what. First of all, I love life. Life is good, and I'm eager to continue fighting for many, many years. But second of all, it ain't going to work. I don't give a damn. You got nothing you can take from me that I care about more than this country and my kids' future, right? There's nothing you can take. I don't care about money. Don't care about power. Don't care about prestige. All I want is freedom.
You sound like a very dangerous man, Tom. You sound unbribable, dude.
Well, I am unbribable. I'm proudly unbribable. I'd be a rich man by now if I was bribable. But, I'm not, and I don't really care if I ever am. I just care about being able to move the ball down the road and helping the guys that are good, stopping the guys that are bad. And I got to tell you, I don't know what the hell's going on here, Vem, but this is a very straightforward thing. We've got a situation where I asked a very reasonable question. I presented evidence and said, is there a fox in the hen house? And instead of getting any sort of a direct response, instead of getting a, hey, Renz, you're wrong, can you apologize and retract it, which I would have happily done if evidence was provided that I'm wrong. Instead, I get censorship, I get pressure on the people around me, I get threats, I get all this stuff. And I'm going to tell you what, all that's done is convince me that I was right. If I'm wrong, I stand by my offer. Give me evidence that I'm wrong. Show me that Susie is not working with an entity owned by a WEF partner that represents Gavi, UN Foundation, Pfizer, and Gilead. Show me that she is not using her influence in any way, shape, or form to push the president, the real president, the guy that I want to vote for, into doing stupid crap. But at minimum, I hope that Donald Trump hears about this and that he starts asking some questions, because, I mean, this guy has had nothing but snakes around him forever. They keep getting in there. And I think it's the MAGA nation. I think if you believe in Trump 2024, and listen, I don't even care if you're on the Q side of things or not. If you think that even if you think all the white hats are doing all the things, do you really think that there's no bad guys trying to infiltrate them? People say to me, oh, Trump has to know this, Trump has to know that. Donald Trump runs a $1 billion organization. It's a couple of them. I mean, Truth Social is now publicly traded. You got all these different things he's doing. The guy is running, he's running mega businesses. Thankfully, he's got, some good people, Eric and whatever around him. But the guy is running businesses. He's running for president. He's under siege on levels that most people couldn't fathom in 3 lifetimes. I mean, I've never seen, I couldn't list another person who's been more under siege than Trump. Other than, it's interesting because we got Alex up there. I'd say Alex Jones might be a second. But, Trump is so under siege and so attacked and so busy and so this and so that. Listen, you cannot. Well, Vem, you know this. I mean, you're a busy guy. You got people that help you. You can't do even what I do, even what you do. I have to rely on the people that work with me, right? I mean, I got Andrea. She assists me on so many different things. I have to be able to rely on her. I got Frankie that helps me. I got these different people that help me. If I can't rely on them, I can't do what I'm doing. I have to have people who can do the work. That's why you hire people, right? But what if the people you hire are plants? What if, they get bought off? What if you didn't do your proper homework ahead of time, or someone lied to you, or someone set it up so that they didn't look like who they are? I'm not saying that any of this necessarily happened with Susie, but what I'm saying is that this woman is obviously listed in some very compromising places. And when I asked about it, very politely, I got my head took off. And that's just not the reaction. If there's nothing to see, you don't react that way, right? You don't attack someone for asking a question if it's a simple misunderstanding. You say, hey, here's the evidence. It's a misunderstanding. And evidence is different than, well, I know this person. Because I don't give a shit if you know the person. I know a lot of people. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've had people that I thought were good people that I've worked with since this has started, and it's turned out they've been crooks. They've been this, they've been that. The only thing you can do is go where the evidence takes you. And at this point, I presented evidence. I have not seen an iota of counter evidence, not a single scintilla, nothing. All I've heard is that I shouldn't be asking the questions. I'm a bastard for asking them, and that it needs to be censored. Well, you don't censor the truth unless you got a good reason to, right? You don't censor a mistake. You just say it's a mistake and you deal with it. This is PR 101. Listen, you got to be an amateur or some sort of a crook or so, I don't know, because the PR 101, if you make a mistake, the worst thing you can do is overreact, get highly defensive, and make it worse. Right now, they've made it way worse. If it's a mistake, they should have just said so. But I don't think it was a mistake, because I literally provided screenshots. I literally provided evidence. It's not like I made this up. I'm not providing someone else's news article. I provided screenshots that give you a good reason to ask about the loyalty. And, I mean, if I were a lawyer, well, I am a lawyer. If I were a lawyer asked to represent Donald Trump and I was working with Mercury, I would decline to represent him because I would say I was conflicted. I would say I couldn't because, Mercury's interests do not mimic those of Trump's stated interest as America First mega, representative. I don't think that I would be able to do that. Now, Susie's not an attorney. And in the PR world, especially in the political consulting world, one of the great problems we face is these consultants will represent Democrats and Republicans. They don't give a damn because it's all uniparty. And I'm just asking, is that what's going on here? Because we, the people, and Donald Trump has made it clear that he's not uniparty. He is America First. Okay. Well, that's a big difference between America First and uniparty. Ask Mitch McConnell. Compare Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump. Yeah. So, I mean, if you've got
I have a question about this thumbnail here. So she is linked to Pfizer, Gilead, Gavi, and the United Nations Foundation. Is that what this thumbnail is saying?
Well, that's our show title for today. And what it was is Mercury LLC has listed on their website that they represent all of these places. So the company that's paying her, the company that she's working for, takes payment from each of those. I mean, they represent their clients. They either are or have taken payment, and they are proud that they've represented those clients. They call them successes, or I mean, it's listed on, there's like successes or something on the webpage. So she's working for a company that, the Trump base is going to have a lot of questions about. I mean, Trump may still be confused on these vaccines, especially if she's telling him to be. Mm-hmm. But, his base is pretty clearly not okay with Gavi, Pfizer, and Gilead. And the UN Foundation, and the fact that these guys are owned by the WEF. The Omnicom is a WEF partner.
So, Omnicom. Tell me about Omnicom. What is Omnicom?
The swamp, frankly. So right there, you see a global and marketing communications company. So what they do is they've got a whole bunch of these, different marketing media communications companies that they own. I don't know how many. I want to say hundreds, if not thousands. And they're a huge conglomerate. And so if you want to be in the mainstream news, if you want to be, out there, this group is a gatekeeper, right? They control everything because all of the big firms work with them or know them. I mean, there's a few others out there, but these guys are one of the biggest in the world, and certainly one of the biggest in the United States. And so they make sure that the messaging for Democrats, for Republicans, forever, is what it needs to be. Have you ever wondered why it is that Democrats and Republicans all end up supporting the same thing? I mean, at the end of the day, these guys tell people how to message, how to market. I mean, Mike Johnson just promoted the Ukraine bill and all these other spending bills, and the base is furious. Everybody knew the base was going to be furious, but they promoted it anyways. Why? Well, because the consultants told them to, right? The swamp are the political consultants, and a lot of them are tied in with groups like this. And these political consultants represent Democrats and Republicans, and they'll tell the Democrats, hey, push for this. And they'll tell the Republicans, hey, oppose this. But when it comes time to vote, you might need to back off because, there's just not enough support. So they're playing both sides against the middle, right? It's a huge conflict of interest, but it really just... a lot of your listeners especially recognize that a lot of what we see out of Washington looks like a choreographed show. It's not real. This is how they do it, right? You've got these huge marketing groups that represent both sides of the aisle, and they'll tell one side to say this, the other side to oppose that. And then at the end of the day, they'll say, well, you're just not going to have the ability to oppose this any longer. So Republicans, you need to sell out and support them. That's how this works, right? That's why it looks choreographed, because it actually is. And Omnicom is, like I said, they're listed on the WEF website as a partner, which immediately makes them suspect to me. And to me, they look like one of the most profound. I guess they really strike me as the group that's really coordinating a lot of messaging. I'm sure they got good people in there just like everybody else, but it looks like, I don't trust anybody who's tied in with the WEF at this point.
I'm trying to find this interview. Like, this was removed.
Well, I mean, if that happened, that's something, but I will tell you, like I said, I've always liked Alex. He's always done right by me. He's always been a good guy. I have nothing but respect for Alex Jones, and I got to be honest. If I do half of what he's done, I'll be happy. But you're right. I am being censored. I am being pulled down. That interview is very hard to find. Like I said, last time I saw, the whole show was still up there on InfoWars, so you can still find the whole show. And like I said, Vigilant Fox, I want to do a shout out for Vigilant Fox, because Fox found it somewhere, and he posted it up there, and kudos to him. And Vigilant Fox and the Vigilant News Network, man, like I said, they've been relentless in pushing the truth. And I will tell you, one of the things that's interesting is I just was on with Dr. Drew, I want to say Wednesday, and I talked about this a little bit in there with Dr. Drew. I was on with Dr. Drew and Sasha Latipova, and we hit a bunch of stuff, and most of it was related to vaccines, this, that, and other. But he did ask me about the bureaucrats. I did talk about this a bit, and I did ask these questions. And I don't think anybody's going to censor Drew, because I don't think he gives a damn. He's there, but it is very hard to find information on this, and now this is a big deal, because again, this is a right-wing Trump MAGA America First issue, and what crook is posing as a right-winger that's pushing right-wing people to take that down? There is no way that this. I mean, nobody's taken this down without a reason, right? And again, we've been told in no uncertain terms by a number of people, hey, this is being taken down because we were told we don't have a choice. I don't know, Vem. I mean, it to me, like I said, I've seen every time I post something about the Uniparty, I think the Uniparty allows for the fraud money sent to Ukraine. It allows for the southern border to never be closed. It allows for the COVID stuff. It allows for the CBDCs. It allows for all this stuff. Without the Uniparty, none of this is happening, right? We, the people, everybody likes to think that the Republicans are there and they're separate from the Democrats. They have to think that, right? Because if you don't vote for the Republicans, well, what are we going to have, a third party? Well, they can't control a third party, right? But the Republicans are largely, with a few exceptions, I mean, MTG and Massey have been phenomenal lately. I've been very excited about them. But you've got, with a few exceptions, the Republican Party is 100% just the Democrats that lie about who they are. I mean, Mitch McConnell is supporting everything. I mean, he loves everything Adam Schiff says. There's no difference. I can't tell the difference between Mitch McConnell and Adam Schiff. Tell me what they're going to fight about. I mean, McConnell supported Pfizer, Schiff supported Pfizer, and Johnson supported Pfizer. The American people hate Pfizer. The Republican base hates Pfizer. MAGA and America First hates Pfizer. But Mike Johnson, Adam Schiff, Mitch McConnell, no difference. No difference whatsoever. They all support Pfizer. Ukraine foreign aid package. The American people hate it. MAGA hate it. Republicans hate it. Mitch McConnell loves it. Mike Johnson loves it. Adam Schiff loves it. There's no difference. It's an illusion. It's an illusion that's designed to make you think that there's someone fighting for you, but there's not. That's why I've been so hard on people like Jim Jordan. He always wants to tell us what he's doing, but when it comes time to vote or sponsor a bill or do anything useful, they're never anywhere to be found. I'm just saying. And this looks like the same. So it looks like every time I find that, every time I make that clear, it pisses everybody off.
Mm-hmm. Has this thing been so rigged that, with intelligence operatives, with people that are double agents, essentially? I mean, it feels like a James Bond movie, really. I mean, has it been so rigged that it's just, it's a quagmire? It's like, we're never going to get out of this, because our Congress certainly is not working for us. It certainly is a uniparty. 99% of people in Congress are absolutely useless. What is the solution here?
Well, I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, Donald Trump can be the answer to our prayers and he can do all these things, but he's going to have to start asking for real help from real people. He's going to have to start surrounding himself with MAGA, real Americans, real people who will back him, who will support him, but people who are proven to stand for America first, right? Not people who tell him he's America first, not people who blow sunshine up his rear. And this is one of the problems. Trump needs to have people around him who will challenge him and say, this is not right. This is not the presidency is not The Apprentice, right? You're fired is not funny when it's the presidency. You're fired is a big, serious thing, because if you're fired and you're working for the president, that means that you did something that's probably hurting our country. So, I think Trump really just needs, I've said the most important thing Trump could do is go Elliot Ness, right? He needs to get a straight up team of untouchables, people who cannot be bought under any circumstances. And he needs to not ask them not a big cushy spot in the administration. They should be completely independent, completely separate, and they should be vetting the people around him. And it should be 100%. It should be ongoing. People should be watching bank records. They should be watching connections. You need a small team of absolutely uncorruptible people who are going to watch over the people around him, because the job of this group, he's got to have people who are vetting to make sure that people around him are not corrupt. There's too much money. There's too much at stake right now globally. And, it's just too easy. Listen, what's your price? 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures? If you're the World Economic Forum and you've made trillions of dollars off of COVID, and you're making billions of dollars off of wars, and you're making, all this money, spending $10 million to buy someone off, it's irrelevant. If it's going to make you $1 billion, who cares? Right? So you've got to have people that can't be bought, that it doesn't matter what the number is. And until he gets some people around him that are like that and that won't kiss his ass, they'll just do what he needs to do what they need to do to protect America first and MAGA. I think he's going to keep having infiltrators because, it's too much. It's too much. There's always, man, everybody seems to have a price. Thank God for the guys that are still around him that are pushing. I hope that they're doing something with this. I hope, that some of the friends that we have that are close with the president are getting him this information, because, again, I'm doing this because I want to help Donald Trump. I want to help MAGA. I want to make MAGA Trump 2024 happen. But I'm going to tell you, the thing that triggered this whole thing, the thing that turned me on to this, was I found out that the guy that Trump endorsed up in Michigan is doing some stuff that looks like it was intentionally designed to undercut Trump's position in Michigan. Who the hell endorsed this guy? I mean, this guy is disenfranchising counties. 24 counties were disenfranchised in a recent vote. GOP parties representing 24 counties in Michigan were disenfranchised in a recent GOP vote. This kind of stuff was designed, or either this hoaxer guy who's running Michigan is either corrupt or stupid or completely incompetent, in my opinion. It's got to be one of the three, because what he's doing is so depressed and so damaged Michigan that, Michigan, I would say, was actually going to be in play this time around. until this endorsement. Then when I start seeing across the board in various places around the country the same type of endorsements for the same type of crappy people, I just, I start looking. It's like, we got to let the president know that whoever's in charge of his endorsements and whoever's pushing this, and like I said, from what I understand, the Susie Wiles has a lot to do with that. And so I started looking, I see all these this is all about helping Donald Trump. I want to make sure that we got Trump 2024, but it isn't going to happen if Trump doesn't hear when there's the fox in the hen house. There's a lot of rumors about why DeSantis fired her, and none of them are flattering for her, right?
You want to get into those rumors, and for viewers that don't know?
Well, they're rumors, right? So I don't know, and I haven't spent a ton of time on them. There's stories about her being pay to play. There's stories about her leaking information she shouldn't have. There's all sorts of stories, and I don't know what's true and what's not. I don't have any connections with the DeSantis camp, so I haven't been able to verify any of it. So, at this point, it's literally rumors. But at least in my world, there's plenty of credible articles out there, and people can look at that. But again, I didn't bring this up to cause a poo storm. But I've found over time that whenever I'm getting this kind of flack, I'm probably over the target. And, I will state again for the 300th time, prove me wrong and I'll retract and apologize. But if you can't prove me wrong, I think that we need to make sure that the president's aware of what's going on. And, I hope that the president will look into it himself and kind of go from there. But I just don't know why the president would ally with a WEF type. It just looks bad. It looks really bad. And in light of the endorsements he's making, which, I travel all over the country. And, nobody, you got to understand, listen, nobody's going to Donald Trump and saying, Mr. President, I'm glad you're in my state, but your endorsements suck ass. Nobody's saying that to him because people don't have balls. Most people don't have the balls to tell the truth.
Could I give an example, actually, of this is a really tangible example. Actually, an interview that's coming up. Jim Marchant. Have you heard of Jim Marchant?
I want to say that I've shaken his hand, but I don't know. I know he's Nevada, but I don't know any details on it. I don't know. I may have met him.
So his background is he's really been leading the election fraud issues in terms of I think one county actually changed to paper ballots because of the work that he does.
Is Jim running for Senate?
Yes,
out in Nevada.
Yeah.
I think I know Jim. I think Jim and I met. I think I liked him, but I've never looked into him, but I think I liked him.
Yeah. Jim Marchant is definitely one of the premier individuals when it comes to fighting the election fraud, right? Yeah. He is also a hardcore MAGA candidate, right? Now, what happened in Nevada is that for some reason, all the endorsements are going to an individual by the name of Sam Brown, okay? Now, when you look at Sam Brown's history, he was actually injured, I believe, in Iraq. His face got burned. You go into that story a little bit more, and it turns out that he actually made some errors that resulted in that tragedy, which also included his fellow soldiers, some of them dying in that situation where he got burned. All fodder for the Democrat to go after Sam and say that your story is not accurate. You actually caused damage to your fellow soldiers. There's enough there where I don't think Sam has a chance of winning, right? But Jim Marchant, on the other hand, when you go through his background, he has everything that qualifies him to be a premier MAGA candidate.
Well, and so as you were telling me that, I remember. So I did meet Jim. I can't remember where, but I remember I spent some time talking to him, and I think maybe General Flynn endorsed him. I don't know. But I do remember because I had a conversation with him and a couple other people. Oh, I can't even remember. Maybe in Miami at an event or something. And he struck me as a real good guy. And you also got Stephanie up there running for Senate.
Yep.
And basically, you guys got some really good candidates running for Senate, right? And I haven't looked enough. I haven't picked. I haven't looked a whole ton into it. I know I've interviewed Stephanie a couple times. I really liked her, and I'd be happy to interview Jim. But at the end of the day, you guys got some great mega candidates there, and yet, I have never met, and I haven't looked into Sam Brown. But from what I hear, universally, everybody tells me he's a rhino. I don't know. If that's the case, though, why the hell is he getting an endorsement? But that's what I see all over the country, right? So this is what happens. I go state to state to state, and I'm doing, fighting for freedom and all these different things. And when I'm talking to people, they're telling me the same thing. Hey, why did Trump endorse this guy? He's a rhino. Hey, why did Trump endorse that guy? He's a rhino. And where they're really getting it is they're getting Trump will endorse a lot of the people running for GOP National Committee or different state GOP committees. And, these are people that there's no way Trump's vetting because no one has time to do that. No way he's got time. I wouldn't have time to do that. And why is he getting those recommendations? Who's telling him to do that? Well, that's the question. And whoever it is apparently not out looking for Trump's best interest, right? Because if they're looking for his best interest, you want MAGA aligned people who are going to help him get stuff done and who are going to have his back when the bureaucrats come after him. But instead, you keep getting these endorsements for people that are not just questionable, but outright garbage in some cases. And, the question is why? And I think that this is the answer. I think that I don't think that if I'm correct, and if Susie is a snake, I don't think she's the only one. I know you'd mentioned the lawyer, and I don't know, but I don't, I think there's plenty of people around him who are waiting to stab him in the back. And that's why I said he's got to clean out. Even in his campaign, he's already got bad people around him. So what do you think is going to happen if he gets back to the White House? Do you think he's going to suddenly have, a group of people that are untouchable? No. If he can't get it in his campaign, there's no way he's going to get it in the White House. So,
unless Trump 1.0 presidency should have been less than enough. Like, the General Flynn story, again, you get rid of somebody like General Flynn. And the people that they want you to get rid of, you do that, then you basically fall into their trap. So, have we not learned anything from?
No, we clearly have not learned a damn thing. I mean, but that's the thing, right? But it's real easy. I do want to say this, though, and this is a really important thing because one of the things I get, and this frustrates the hell out of me. We, the people, MAGA, we, the America First crowd, we've got to be more disciplined because I will tell you, we'll go to these events like you mentioned, Vem. We'll go to these events and everybody and their brother tells me, oh, that guy's controlled opposition. What's your evidence? Well, they did this. I don't give a damn. What's your actual evidence? I mean, just because someone does something that, they're self-interested in doesn't make them controlled opposition, right? You can be an asshole. You can be a sellout.
There's a lot of that too, by the way. It's like you find out that somebody's butthurt because he didn't give the phone number. It's like a love thing. You know what I mean? And
it's like
everybody's deep state. By the way, Tom, I've got for every person in this movement, there's the opposing story. I've heard the deep state stories about you too. By the way,
hell yeah, I've been told. I mean, Vem, you've drank beer with me. Have you ever seen anything about me that strikes you as CIA? Jesus God, I'd be the worst spy on the planet.
Yeah, there's a few individuals that I know there's no chance of them being deep state. You're one of those. I mean, and I can literally count like maybe 4 or 5 individuals that, because of the way they move, because of the way they do things, it's very clear that they are not. But there's a lot of people. This fight's a great example.
This fight is not in my best interest. I got to tell you, it's objectively a bad idea for me to do this. I'm taking hits like I got to tell you, I'm taking worse hits from this than I did from Big Pharma. It's brutal.
Wow.
But I will tell you, I don't care. I just don't care. The truth is not for sale. And, I said this, Vem, and you know me on a personal level, right? We're friends. We're friends off air. And, listen, Sometimes I'm overworked and I go drink too much beer. Sometimes I get into this trouble, get into that trouble. I'm not a perfect man, but no one is going to be able to point to anything that I've ever done objectively that wasn't pro God, family, country for my work. My work is not for sale. I may not be a perfect man, but I have not sold out 1 inch, and I will not. And you won't find any evidence because I haven't done it. So I'm not gonna. And this is a tough fight. It's not an easy fight, because I'm getting told, well, are you going to damage MAGA? No, I'm not going to damage MAGA. I'm going to make MAGA stronger because we're going to get rid of the crap that's actually just pretending to be MAGA. If I'm wrong, and I want to stress this, I'm not Jesus. I can't read minds and hearts, but I've presented good hard evidence. If I'm wrong, refute my evidence, and I'll apologize. I'll retract. I'll go on every show I can and say, man, I was really screwed up on this. But the idea that you're going to intimidate, threaten, or push me into silence, I got news for you. You got a better chance of getting the earth to stop spinning because it ain't going to happen. I am not going to stay silent because someone doesn't like what I have to say. And I am not going to sell out my principles. I got all sorts of problems on my personal side, as I said. Vem seen me drink too much beer but I am not. I promise God, I promise my family, I promise my boys. I put everything I got into this fight. I'll make my mistakes and I'll own them. But one of them that I will not make is I will never sell my integrity in this fight. And this has been hell. We've been hit hard on this, but I don't care. Give me the evidence. Show me where I'm wrong, and I'll retract. Otherwise, I'm going to continue supporting President Trump in every way I can by trying to show that there's evidence of foxes in the henhouse, and we need to address it.
Wow. When they're trying to censor you to this level, it's absolutely crazy because it's not like this is front, page news either. You're talking about it's going on Alex Jones. It's within a specific community.
Don't want the base to know that you got someone in there that's selling them out. I mean, Donald Trump's fighting for us, but his campaign and the recommendations, endorsements, some of these things, I mean, they don't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense for an America First guy like Donald Trump to endorse rhinos and endorse people that are going to stab him in the back and that you see stabbing him in the back. But he can't know everything. His job is too big. And so putting snakes around him makes a lot of sense if you're the bad guys.
One of the things I've heard about him is that he's actually too nice of a person. And I've seen that. I mean, they try to make it seem like he's Mr. Dictator. He's going to hang all his opponents, blah, blah, blah. Seems like all the things they accuse him of, they're the ones really doing it themselves. So is he too nice of a person?
Well, I mean, listen, I don't know the president. I've never met him. And I doubt doing what I'm doing now, I'm going to be meeting him anytime soon because I'm thinking Susie's going to block any meetings that I might get. But that said, from what I know and from what the people that know him have told me, the president's an incredibly loyal guy. Once you're his friend, and he's got your back, right? I don't know if that's true. I don't know him. But, that would make sense, that if he was convinced that she's acting in good faith and acting as his friend and acting as this, acting that. But remember, this is literally what you train people to do if you're in the intel community. Befriend someone, and then so that they think you're their friend while you're selling them out. I don't know if that's what's happening. I don't know if it's because he's too nice. I don't know if he's, some people say he's prideful. I don't know the man. I really don't. I don't have anything to go on, but I have evidence. Okay, and that evidence is incontrovertible, and that evidence suggests that we have a question to ask. Is there a conflict of interest in the person running his campaign and PAC? And that's a real basic question. And the fact that when I ask that question, I get this reaction, it makes me think, man, I must have a real good question here. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have anything to hide, you don't hide it. You don't get mad when someone asks you a question that is innocuous, right? I mean, it's a fair question. What I should have gotten back from the Trump campaign, if they didn't like me asking it, was, hey, Renz, you got a fair question, and I want we understand why you're asking it. We've vetted Susie. We got the following, and this, and this. So, can you fix this? And I'd said, absolutely. I would have been the first one to put out the next tweet, to put out the next this, the next that, and to say, listen, I goofed up. I got bad intel. I got bad this. I got bad that. My research was wrong because I don't care. Like, I'm not in this for me. It's not about my ego. I'm in it for America, because my boys are not going to grow up in the hellhole that we're trying to give them. So that's what I'm in this for. It's real easy. If I'm wrong and I don't correct it, I'm contributing to the problem. But no one suggested that no one suggested with any evidence that I'm wrong. I was told, some people were told I was wrong. Some people were told, oh, she's been vetted. Okay. Well, then explain to me why she's working for a company that represents Pfizer, Gilead, Gavi, and the UN Foundation, and is owned by a WEF partner, and that represents Democrats and all these others. And she is apparently endorsed, behind the endorsement of all sorts of terrible people. Explain that to me. Once you explain that to me, if you have actual evidence, not just, no, we talked to her, we like her. I don't care if you talk to her and like her. I care about the fact that I gave you evidence and you gave me, we talked to her and like her. Right? It's real simple.
Yeah.
So, give me something and I'll apologize. I'll make it, and I'll quit talking about it. Until then, I'm going to keep going until I feel like I've said my piece. And once I feel like Donald Trump has heard it and, it's gotten out there and it's been addressed, I'm sorry. I got to tell you, one of the things that I actually personally feel bad about on this, because when I think about I always think about my actions when I'm going after these. I actually personally feel bad because I've been thinking about, if I were Donald Trump and I'm under all the attacks that you're under, man, that guy, he's a 70-some-year-old billionaire. He didn't need all this. He's just trying to save our country. And he's going through this hell. And I actually personally kind of felt bad because I'm like, man, I'm going to drop this. This is one of his, close advisors. And it's just another thing for him to deal with. But then I thought it through and I was like, well, but if she's stabbing him in the back, shouldn't he know immediately? Shouldn't he be able to get this information right away so he can deal with it and figure out what he wants to do? I mean, listen, I'm not a general in his army. I'm just some guy who's supporting MAGA and Trump 2024 because I think it's the best thing for our country. But, I don't know what's going on there. And, at the end of the day, I felt like, I know he's got a lot going on, but you can't have someone that's stabbing you in the back when you don't notice. He's eventually going to get done with this. I think the SCOTUS is going to rule in his favor on the immunity stuff, because otherwise the courts are going to have to deal with these political questions that are real difficult, and they don't want to forever, because Biden, Obama, all these guys could get sued if they don't have immunity. So, at that point, I think that a lot of this is going to clear up, and I know he's going to better to deal with it now than to get surprised and have this nightmare hit later. So that's where I'm at, and like I said, this is a very fair story. It's a very fair question, and just show me where I'm wrong, but show me with evidence. Don't just tell me I'm wrong, because I don't give a damn what anybody says.
Yeah, totally, man, totally. Tom, incredible work as always. I mean, it's crazy that people like us have to be doing these exposés, asking these questions. I mean, the mainstream media, as always, completely useless. I mean, before all this stuff, it was very obvious that most of the news is fabricated by PR agencies. That I knew.
Welcome on the court.
1998. You know what I mean? It's like I could have told you that. I mean, I could have told you that most of what is known as news and wars and whatever that we hear about, PR agencies. I mean, most of it's not true. So that's really what it is, right? They're doing PR. We're trying to do the real news, and I mean, listen, it's a wild world. That has to change. I mean, our entities have to be funded like the mainstream media is funded, because we're really doing the job they should be doing.
Yeah, well, listen, this isn't real. This is, again, enter Omnicorp and Mercury LLC. That's what they do, right? That's what it is. And I mean, it is what it is. We know what's going on. This isn't complicated. It's a lot of manufactured nonsense. But do you want someone who's working in that swamp actually running your campaign? I mean, Jesus. Especially, it'd be one thing if this was a Republican only or a MAGA only, a very strong MAGA type consulting group. You need consultants, but we're talking about a group that is just right in bed with the devil. And it's a co-chair. She's a co-chair. She's not a low-level nobody. She is a co-chair in this Mercury LLC crew, and they represent all the people that the base doesn't like. This is a serious conflict. Mm-hmm. And, the fact that nobody will talk about it, the fact that, you're in this much trouble for talking about it, just, again, okay, well.
Wow. One thing I will say, this is a very proud moment in the history of America happens because we just showed you a story that even, and I'm hesitant to say this, but I can't find this interview, Tom, but Alex Jones may have been forced to censor you by powers that be, and you are here not being censored at America Happens. And when you guys, the
thank you for that.
When you go and you look at AmericaHappens.com, there's under Rage Against the Mainstream Media, it says Rage Against the Mainstream Media, it says podcast, documentaries, news, whatever, all the stuff we do. But the one word that's in red there, everything else is in black ink, but the one word that's in red there is uncensored. And you're seeing that right now. We are truly uncensored.
I mean, I got a handful of places where I can get this truth out. And I'm hoping that people will share this on X and on True Social, especially True Social. Tag the Donald. I want him to see what's going on. We're loyal to him. It's our loyalty to him that drives us to put ourselves at personal risk. We're loyal to MAGA, right? So my first loyalty is to making America great again. Is to making America first, right? And as Donald Trump has made that his thing, and so he's got my appreciation, right? Anybody fighting with me, I'll back. But if it looks like you're fighting against me on making America great or helping to save this country for our kids, I don't give a damn who you are. I don't give a damn. We the people, we're the ones that have to do this. And if we don't start ferreting out this uniparty bullcrap, you might as well understand that right now I'm watching as Republican legislatures around the country and various state houses are passing Democrat legislation like you can't believe. The state of Missouri is one of the reddest states in the country. And I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if after this election we see some changes in Ohio, Missouri, some of these other states that are very red. Because, I mean, the state legislatures are selling the people out all over the place. And it's the Republicans, right? We know what you get when you live in California. But you're about to live in California wherever you live because the Republicans are selling this out and no one has the courage to deal with this. The idea of party over principle is going to destroy this country. You are either about the principles of America. The Republican Party got where it is by representing America. Abraham Lincoln, Republican, he stood strong on principle, right? Throughout the years, the Republicans stood for things like civil rights, all these different things. The Republican Party made its name by doing what was right over what was easy. It was a party of principle. Right now, that party of principle is gone. And if we don't demand it comes back, our country's lost because it's the Democrats have said, we like socialism and communism. We're done. Yeah. If the Republicans won't actually stand against it, if they're just saying things while they continue to push the Democrat agenda, we're screwed.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at what they did again with Ukraine and Israel, $95 billion, I can't go to certain neighborhoods in this country for literal fear that I might be killed because it's so dangerous. And not to mention the fact that there's potholes everywhere, the streets are all messed up, and we're sending $95 billion to foreign entities. It's just that alone tells you everything you need to know about how our Republicans are behaving, which is that they don't give a shit about their base. I mean, then you're like, all right, if you don't give a shit about your base, who's getting your votes? Then you start to question everything else, like the voting machines and the way our political process is being run. So, yeah, it's all crazy. It's all really crazy information. And when you realize that we really don't have anybody out there fighting for us. What's our next option? You know, I see a lot of these posts now where, you know, don't pay your taxes, taxation without representation. I mean, it just seems to be escalating to whole new level where you have potential millions of people out there talking about not paying their taxes because they're no longer represented.
Yeah. Well, the problem is going to be that unless they do more than that, and unless they unify and do some other really important things, they're just going to go to jail. I mean, you know, go ahead. You don't pay your taxes. You're just going to end up in jail. I mean, you know, if we want to have any sort of an organized revolt, if we want to see changes, we've got to start forcing them. You know, the handful of people that are out there, and it's an increasing number, we're saying things like, I'm not going to pay my taxes. I'm not going to do that. Well, how's that any different from the left? Right? I'm not a fan of just breaking the law arbitrarily. Now, if they start, there's certain laws that I wouldn't follow no matter what. You know, I don't care what they do in terms of law. There will never be a vaccine in any of my family members' arms ever, no matter what. I don't care what laws they make. Literally, I mean, I would defend that in any way I had to. Yeah, there's certain things that I won't stand for. My kids, they're not going to be in a porn-filled school, but they aren't, right? My kids go to a private school where they don't have that. There's certain things that I won't flex on, but the idea that, you know, 50 people not paying their taxes is going to make any difference, well, not really. You're just going to all go to jail. I mean, look at you know, I mean, and no one does anything, right? Because let's look at J6. What have we done about J6? How long has this been going on? You know, J6 has been going on for what, 3+ years now. Mm-hmm. I mean, has anybody done anything? We're still standing there.
I mean, that's another thing that makes you question what the hell is going on, because you have evidence that was a Fedsurrection. Conveniently, all of our congressional members, including some of the people that we consider good guys, are avoiding even being served notice about that, meaning that these individuals that have seen certain things that would blow the whole story wide open, they're having an impossible time meeting with some of the people that are Freedom Caucus individuals.
Well, so I mean, Jim Jordan, the king of the Freedom Caucus, was literally my representative during COVID and wouldn't meet with me. I was the premier lawyer in the country on this stuff, and the guy wouldn't meet with me on the most important issue on the planet. Why? Because he's full of shit. He's not Freedom Caucus. He's just a mouthpiece. He likes to roll up his sleeves and act like he's doing something, but he hasn't done a damn thing. How many bills has Jim Jordan passed? What has he done in his entire career other than go on Fox News and have hearings? Nothing. But this is what they do. But here's the interesting thing. Nobody seems to mind promoting Jim Jordan as some sort of a freedom warrior, even though he accomplishes nothing, right? Why is that? Maybe it's because he accomplishes nothing that they do promote him. Because I'm going to tell you something. On a Tuesday, I do more than he's done in his career for freedom, and that's as a nobody from Ohio. The guy doesn't do anything. He just sits up there and pontificates, and then sells out. You notice that, you know, as a leader of the Freedom Caucus, you don't see him backing Tom Massey and MTG, do you? Calling for Johnson's head? Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. You don't see a whole lot of people. Where are all these strong leaders when it comes to that? Who else is speaking out? Who's got the courage in Congress to speak out against a guy who has literally passed every Democrat deal that he could pass since he became the Speaker of the House? What is the difference? And I'll tell you what I really love. Oh man, this pisses me off. Oh, Renz, you can't talk about Johnson. If we get rid of him, we'll have Joaquin Jeffries as the Speaker. So what? What's the difference? What's he going to do? Pass worse legislation? Yeah. There is no worse legislation. There is nothing that the Democrats can do that's worse than what we're having now. What, they're going to pass an extra $100 billion to Ukraine? What, they already did. Yeah. All the Democrat stuff is going through just as they wanted to. Johnson has literally done nothing. I don't give a damn whether he or the Republican. I would rather have the enemy I know than the guy stabbing me in the back. Yeah, I would take that every day. Get rid of these bums. I don't care if we have to lose the majority. I don't care what we got to do. I do not care. I am not a party guy. I am a principle guy. And anybody who tells me you got to put party over principle is garbage.
You're talking the words of George Washington, basically. I mean, we were warned about this. We were warned about a two-party system. We were warned about this kind of corruption, and lo and behold, that's where we are. That's where we are. You know, it's a fool's errand to think that we're gonna, you know, hey, it's not Mike Johnson. You put Jim Jordan up there as speaker, things are going to change. No, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. And I think some of these ideas that you have out there in terms of regaining our freedom, for example, I heard there's a coalition out there that's talking about moving all the national congressional members to the state where they're supposed to be representing, so they get to walk the stores that most of the citizens inhabit, meaning you see that person at your neighborhood Walmart. How much more convenient will that be for the people as opposed to sticking them all in Washington, D.C.? They're totally disconnected from the people that they're supposed to be representing. They have cover in Washington, D.C. in this little plush community that they have. And by the way, I've spent a lot of time there. You know, it's great, man. It's great going to the congressional cafeteria and spending $10 and getting the highest quality food and an abundance of it. The same thing, by the way, if that I went outside and tried to buy
mRNA in it either.
What's up?
I'm guessing their food doesn't have mRNA in it either.
No. And it would cost me at least $30 outside of Congress to buy the same thing that I bought in that congressional cafeteria. Delicious, by the way. Some of the finest food I've ever had for $10. But that just shows you the extent of corruption. Not only do they get paid the six-figure salaries, they're in this protected little community in Washington, D.C., eat the finest foods, honestly belong to this little private club. Everywhere you go in Washington, D.C., there's all these cool little private clubs. And yes, the lifestyle is great. I loved it. I loved hanging out there. But it has nothing to do with connection to we the people. It's no different than an enclave like Hollywood. It's no different than, you know, going to West Hollywood, hanging out at the Soho Club with a bunch of other elite. It feels great. It's awesome. It's plush. But what does that do for the country?
Yep. Well, I think you're talking about Scott McCain, the Bring It Home Amendment, which I had never heard until Scott told me about it. And I think maybe Ann Vandersteel's pushing it too. I don't know who all is, but I love it.
No, I heard it from a gentleman that runs, the United Coalition of, it's basically getting back to our constitutional values.
I love it. I personally love it. Scott told me about it, and he was talking about it's the Bring It Home Amendment, and I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. He said, you know, no districts larger than 50,000, and everybody has to stay in their district to vote. And I think that's brilliant.
We have 6,000 something congressional members, by the way. When you go with that equation, all of a sudden, as opposed to, I don't know, 600, 700, or 800,
a lot harder to be corrupt.
Yeah, now you have 6,000 something or 7,000 something, all which are in their home state. So it's not like you got to make the congressional building bigger to fit more people. No, they're in their home states, all 7,000 of them. Which I don't know why it did that. By the way, do you notice?
I don't know, but I love it.
What I did do is it does that once in a while. It's like it's got some AI thing, which I wish it wouldn't have because it looks cool, but it's kind of scary that it just decides. You know,
they're watching everything we do. You know, AI is running the show.
Yeah.
We actually do have some info. I have a whistleblower that really, really highly placed in the tech security world, and just had a meeting with a bunch of White House cybersecurity guys, and we got some real troubles with that AI stuff. I'll tell you that. It's a little bit scary. I mean, I don't have time to get into it as much in my work, but the information I got was really. And the guy is rock solid. I mean, I know if this guy's telling me it's true, and it's a little bit scary, the AI.
Yeah. Well, Tom, this was a fantastic episode, man. Thank you so much for this. Really, what's a whistleblower expose at this point? Is there any final words you'd like to share with the viewers before we wrap up this episode?
Well, please go to TomRenz.com. I'm grifting real hard these days. So go to TomRenz.com. I want to raise $100 million so that I can buy a brand new Timex watch. And, go to TomRenz.com. We got our store there. We got our books there. We got all our stuff there. Subscribe on TomRenz.substack.com and on Locals and Rumble. Support us. please share this show and support, Vem, America Happens. I mean, Vem's a warrior. He's a warrior. He's out there fighting for truth. And like he said, a lot of people censor, but Vem ain't censoring. I know that. So, please support him and support this show. Support us at TomRenz.com and pray that Donald Trump gets the message and that we get some answers on what's going on here.
Amazing, Tom. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on to the Blood Money Podcast. And for the viewers out there, make sure you go to americahappens.com, insert your email address so you can stay subscribed to the America Happens Network, because you never know when they're going to start censoring us. We're on Rumble, but who knows? I mean,
shortly after this episode.
Yeah, I mean, this episode's probably going to disappear, and we're going to keep doing what we do at America Happens, which is bringing you uncensored media. Definitely consider supporting us. Definitely consider, donating to us too. First, donate to Tom. I highly recommend you donate to Tom, because some of these exposés nobody's doing this sort of thing. But if you have a few extra pennies left, definitely go to our Give, Send, Go account and throw us some change. Thank you so much, and I will see you all on the next episode of Blood Money.